Ever wonder who we have to thank for the screen you're staring at right now? What if I told you it all started with a rusty tea chest, a biscuit tin, some old bicycle lamp lenses, and a pair of scissors? It sounds like a kid's school project, but this was the makeshift beginning of one of the most revolutionary inventions in human history, the television. And it all happened nearly a century ago, thanks to one determined Scottish inventor. Let's rewind to the roaring 20s. The year is 1926. While the world was dancing to Charleston and listening to jazz on the radio, a man named John Logie Baird was tucked away in a tiny London workshop, about to change everything. He wasn't a wealthy industrialist or a university professor with a huge budget. He was a classic underdog inventor, struggling with poor health and even poorer finances, piecing together his contraption from whatever junk he could find. His goal was simple, yet outrageously ambitious for the time: to transmit a moving image from one place to another. People thought he was crazy. The idea of seeing by wireless, as it was called, sounded like pure science fiction. But Baird was relentless. He had been experimenting for years, building on the work of others, trying to perfect the mechanical system. Unlike the electronic televisions we have today, his device used a spinning disc with a spiral of holes, called a nip-cow disc, to scan an image line by line. It was clunky, noisy, and incredibly crude. The light source was so intensely hot that he initially used a ventriloquist's dummy, which he nicknamed Stooky Bill, because a real person couldn't stand the heat. For months, Stooky Bill was the world's first and only television star. Baird managed to transmit a flickering, shadowy image of the dummy's head from one room to another. It was a breakthrough, but it wasn't enough. He needed to prove his invention could transmit a live human face. And that brings us to the big day, January 26, 1926. In his lab at 22 Frith Street in Soho, London, Baird gathered a small, skeptical audience of about 50 scientists from the Royal Institution. The air was thick with anticipation and probably a lot of dust. This was it, the moment of truth. He powered up his machine, which he called the televisor. First, he showed them the familiar face of Stooky Bill, its jerky movements appearing on a tiny screen no bigger than a business card. The scientists were intrigued, but still not fully convinced. Then came the main event. Baird persuaded a young office boy from the floor below, William Tainton, to be the first human to be televised. Apparently, Tainton was a bit hesitant, perhaps worried the machine might electrocute him, but a small payment of half a crown convinced him to sit in front of the blindingly bright lights. And then it happened. On the small screen in the other room, the audience saw it. A flickering but recognizable live image of William Tainton's face. It was faint. It was low resolution with only 30 lines of detail, but it was unmistakably a moving human being. For the first time ever, a live television broadcast had been successfully demonstrated to the public. The room erupted. History was made. Think about the impact of that moment. Before Baird, the only way to see events happening far away was through still photographs or newsreels shown in cinemas days or weeks later. Baird's invention opened the door to a future of instant global communication. It was the birth of live news, live sports, and every single video you watch online today. Of course, Baird's mechanical system would eventually be replaced by the superior electronic television we know now. But his scrappy, brilliant demonstration proved the concept was possible. He kicked open a door that no one else could, using little more than passion, ingenuity, and a pile of junk. He laid the foundation for the entire visual culture of the modern world. So, the next time you're binge-watching your favorite series or video chatting with a friend across the globe, take a moment to remember John Logie Baird and his televisor. Remember the rusty tea chest, the biscuit tin, and the brave office boy who became the first face on TV. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest revolutions begin in the humblest of workshops. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this trip back in time, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories behind the technology that shapes our world.